Alright, once again, day hike with Darrell. We're doing a trail that you guys probably already know because I have posted pictures of it. I just haven't gotten around to taking a video. It's ended up kind of being my favorite, so I decided that a video would probably do it a little bit better justice than the pictures I have done. This is called Lover's Leap. And the story behind this is that the native tribe out here, the Washita First Nations people, had a kind of a Romeo and Juliet legend for their tribe's history, where a maiden had waited for her lover to return from a battle, and he didn't. So she hiked, apparently, this trail to a rock face and committed suicide. Now, I will be posting this whole video to my YouTube, so go ahead and check that out, Darrell Jean, and you'll find it there. On my Instagram, however, I'm only going to be posting small portions of it, what I feel are the highlights of the trail. Kind of wet today. It has been raining a little bit. Not quite a storm, but it's a little wet. Makes for a really good, nice temperate hike. And one more time I will apologize for the camera quality. I am limited to my phone, as I do not have a GoPro just yet. Thunder off in the distance. I don't know if y'all can hear that or not. I really do like hiking out in weather like this. Get rid of people, get rid of bugs, and you're not sweating your butt off. Oh, neat. Whole bunch of fungus there. Those are called scallop fungus because they are shaped like scallops. Now, as most of you know, yes, you can eat mushrooms, but don't eat just any mushrooms. Most are poisonous, and unless you are 120% sure what you're doing, don't eat them. Fun fact for you dog lovers out there, dogs will naturally stay away from any sort of fungus. I realize this video is going to be a little bumpier than my previous ones because there is a bunch of rocks on the trail, as you can see a little bit. Native out here is granite. There's also shale, which I haven't seen any, so I can't really give you a look at it. But you'll know shale because it chips, sort of the same way granite does, but in thicker flakes. Shale would have been used in a practice commonly known as flint knapping. Native tribes would use flint knapping to take a piece of rock, stone, glass, what have you, obsidian, and they would slowly chip away the edges into the shape they wanted. And so long as it was done correctly and with the correct materials, this would often give you a sharper edge than even an iron or steel knife. Once again, this whole video will go on my YouTube, but for those of you watching on the Instagram, you're only going to get portions of this. So I do recommend you check out my channel. This particular trail does have quite a few sometime water features. Kind of sad to see it's not running today. Here we go. You have seen this in a previous short video, all for its own. Nice little bit of water running here. I don't know how well you can see it actually running, but we've got it running off in that little ravine there. And there's the bridge, 5 feet away. You had one job, guy. And here we can get our first little look out into the valley. Once again, not the greatest of pictures, but I promise y'all I'm trying. Getting dripped on a little bit. Wind coming through the trees, knocking off all the moisture. Oof. I know on the video it's a little hard to tell the color difference, but there is quite a bit of clay out in this area. Not the worst stuff to hike on, but when it's wet, it does still get a little tricky. Here's some more of that granite. Our second point of interest here are these stone steps. And we keep going down. And you can kind of see right here. Scree pile behind this birch tree. Scree refers to a rock field that has fallen down and is now in many, many pieces. More stone steps. Slow going, as I have to be sure of every footfall before I put any weight onto it. Take a look at this for a second. And it just keeps going. The other downside of filming this on my phone is it doesn't really offer much depth perception. But I assure you, there's quite a bit of elevation differentials here on this trail in particular. Starting out, this trailhead begins and ends at the Queen Wilhelmina Lodge, which is 26,000 feet above sea level. None of the Ouachita range goes over 5. And finally, we get a good look at the valley down below. Now, I did say in a previous video that hiking is almost spiritual. I still stand by that. Evidence in that view you just saw. Now, here's something else we should look at. You may have noticed these rocks placed along the trail. I'll give you a second to speculate what they are, and then I'll tell you. Think you have the answer? Alright. The actual answer is that they're placed there to kind of help with erosion. That way, if there's heavy rains, it'll hit that and divert off the trail so that it's not lost to heavy rainfall or inclement weather. I personally have never seen such liberal use of them as on this trail. I don't know exactly the number of inches of rainfall Arkansas sees a year, but seeing those formations would give testament that that's probably a fair amount. Oh, here we are. Trail intersection between the Ouachita Trail and the Lover's Leap Trail. I have section hiked the Ouachita, and it's not exactly my favorite. Not because there's not good views, not because it's not a really good, challenging trail, but because it's not well maintained, or at least not to the standard that I would like it to be maintained. On a lot of part of the trail, there's things in the way, obstacles. It's not cleared, It's not wide enough for more than one person at a time in some sections. It's just bad craftsmanship. I am just now realizing this is going to be kind of a long video, as I'm 15.5 minutes in. So I think I'll break it up into 2 parts. Once I get to Lover's Leap, I'll go ahead and break it off, and then continue once I begin again. While this is not the most difficult hike I've ever done, as I mentioned, there is quite a bit of elevation differential, and that does make for a slight challenge. This mountain range is not high enough to cause hypoxia, altitude sickness. But the trail itself will put you down if you're not careful. And here we have the platform for the section in which that young maiden killed herself. And just look at that view. From here we can see most of Polk County, Arkansas, and a small bit of Oklahoma in this area right here. And now, for the part y'all probably don't want to see, and there we are. Now, that's probably a good 60, 70 feet down. Here we go, a little bit more. Once again, I apologize if the depth perception is going to be way off. Alright, stay tuned for part 2.